なんか匂わない？ほら、うまそうな匂いがする。
あら、ほんとね。
案外まだやってるのかもしれないよ、ここ。
千尋、早くしなさい。待ってー。
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be drawing some Studio Ghibli, specifically a scene from the movie Spirited Away. First to preface this video, I just want to say that I'm really sorry about not posting for a very long time. And I know that in my last video I said that I would be posting more, especially since it was quarantine. But then I promptly forgot about that, and here we are, 4 months after the fact, and this is my first post. Honestly, I can't promise that I'll be posting a lot more now, simply because I don't have the motivation to post all the time, but as long as I have content, I will be posting. That might not be every week or even every 2 weeks, but I will try to upload as frequently as possible while still not forcing myself to make content. Alright, so what I'm starting with is a simple sketch, blocking out what the objects are in the scene, and the way I'm doing that is with a reference object to help me estimate the length, height, width of other objects in the scene. And the reference object I'm using here is the house's width and the house's height. So based on that, I'm going to estimate the dimensions of the other objects in the scene. Now I'm adding details like the chimneys on top of the house and the windows, and starting to draw out the clouds. I'm using my pencil to help me estimate dimensions onto paper. And just so you know, I'll be cutting through the more boring sections where I'm not really doing anything interesting, just continuing a task that I've already talked about for your viewing pleasure, and so that this video isn't 33 minutes long. But I will be uploading a full-length draw with me type video soon, which you can look out for if you are interested in seeing the full process in real time. That's really all I have to say here. I'll see you back after I'm done with the sketch. So it's the next day, and today we are going to be painting. First, I'm just taping off the edges for both practical and aesthetic reasons. First, so that I don't get paint everywhere, and second, because I like the white border that it gives. So I'm using synthetic brushes here, but you could also use watercolor brushes since I'm using gouache. These are a beginner's set from Amazon. Surprisingly, this set is pretty good, and it actually comes with 2 whites and 2 blacks, which I really appreciate since those are some widely used colors. Admittedly, I don't really use black that much, but the 2 whites definitely help, as I'm already halfway through my first white tub. First, I'm starting by blocking off all the big sections. I'm not sure why I swatched that blue first, since I needed to go over with pink first. In my reference photo that you can kind of see in the background, the base color for the ocean and for the clouds is pink, and then I'm just going in with the blue for a light swash on the sky, which I will definitely go back and fix later. For right now, it's just a base color, so it doesn't really need to be that thick, since I'm applying it in a sort of wet wash style of gouache. To the island here, which I'm going in with a very bright green. And then a tan color for the house and green for the tree. Something I'd like to note here is that you do not need to be super concise with your blocking, since we're going to be going over it with lots of layers later, and if you are a little messy with it, the end result will still turn out fine. Now I'm starting to add the blue on top of the pink in the ocean. What I'm doing here is still a very wet wash, and I'm trying to kind of blend it into the pink and give it the semblance of ocean wave. I've actually never done this big of a gouache painting before, so I thought it'd be a fun little project to test my limits and also to make some new bedroom decor. So I'm starting to add more details in the form of a bit of a purpley tone. This is a mix between the pink and the blue color. Now I'm starting to fill in the rest of the gaps where you can still see my first layer, and I'm doing this with a more dusty pink color. I'd say that my best tip for this section is to trust the process and just keep layering on different colors until you have a product that you're happy with. The paint might not look the exact same color when it's dry as when it's wet, since gouache has a tendency to lighten up as it dries. I'm trying to take that into account when I'm mixing my color by making it a little darker than I think it should be. Moving on to the clouds now, we're adding the purple in a light wash. The shade of purple also changes throughout, so I'm accounting for that by mixing some more blue or some more pink into it, depending on where the cloud is. And there I am, adding more blue to the sky. This is what I mean by kind of trust the process. If you need to make something more dark, you can add more color, but it's a bit harder to add lighter colors to a dark backdrop. Just like I did with the ocean, I'm going in with more opaque colors now in forms of orangey pinks and the colors that I ultimately want my cloud to end up as. As I continue to add layers, I'm also trying to blend in some more purple with it in the places that need more shading and adding more depth to the clouds in general. yet again, I am adding more blue to the sky. This time I'm adding a more purpley blue so that it plays nicely with the shades I've chosen for the ocean and clouds. Going on to the house and island, I'm not really doing my wet wash technique here since I didn't really think it was necessary, so I'm just going in with my final color and then adding the lighter colors on top of it. almost there. Now I'm just adding the small little details and we'll be done.